Not too bad. All right, guys, so here we are at the range, and today we're going to be looking at this beautiful rifle right here. This is courtesy of CMMG, so I did receive this rifle directly from them, which is pretty awesome. Just so you're aware, this is coming to me out of CMMG because they are really trying to make a mark on the compliant states like mine of New York. This rifle, 100% compliant. There's nothing on here that would be considered illegal in this horrible state, but we'll go to the table. I'll show you some things about this rifle that make it unique for my state and why I think this is actually something that people who live in these compliant states really need to start looking at. I have AR-15s, I've built my own. However, this is kind of a unique type of rifle in the setting of what are you going to be using it for. However, this type of rifle, in my opinion, is almost like a carbine type rifle. You can see you have the buttstock, which is basically a 580 buttstock. And then, of course, you have a detachable magazine. But the reason why this is completely compliant is because it's a 10-round magazine. It's a box mag. It's awesome. And, of course, you guys can see there's nothing on the front here. So it's not a threaded barrel. There's no muzzle device on here. And, again, like I said, this makes it 100% compliant. So we're going to shoot a few hundred, maybe a couple hundred rounds today, and just get a feel for the rifle. Not really looking for real accuracy at this point. I'm just thinking to see if this rifle cycles the way it should. Obviously, you know, it is a beautiful looking rifle. It does have a side charging handle, which is pretty cool. And I'm really excited. So we're going to start shooting this. Alrighty, pretty nice so far, guys, I have to say. Let's drop that sucker. Almost right on target too. This with no magnification. It's pretty good, man. I mean, you could drop it, or you could basically rack the slide like that and let it grip. But it shoots pretty damn nice. Really, really nice. Everything's still fitting pretty good. Nothing coming undone, which is nice. The racking of that is beautiful. It's very, very light, and there's nothing in there. Trigger's super nice to use. Recoil is a bit punchy, considering there is no muzzle device on here. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty badass. It is starting to warm up. Obviously, the hand grip's starting to warm up. I put about 60 rounds through it already, and I can definitely feel the heat building up on there. Nothing too uncomfortable, but definitely doable. And it's definitely not over gas. It ejects very nicely. No issues with me being a lefty shooter. So, I mean, overall, it looks pretty good. I love that. I love that. You just have to touch it and it racks it right forward. It's very nice. Take my safety off, ready to shoot. Let's see. Apparently I didn't put it back on, duh. Ooh, I'm right there. Just low. It's funny because as I'm shooting it, I can see all the dust flying. I just wish I had a little magnification on this thing, but I'll tell you guys, it works very nicely. I'm not sure what all this shit is on my bag, but the dot is, you know, it's a bare bones basic dot. I mean, there's nothing to it. It's just really one of these silently red dots that I had, and I threw it on there. I wish there was some magnification because I think it would work a lot better, obviously, at distance, but at a couple, I think it's 150 yards from here, I'm just shooting low of the actual steel target, which is kind of a bummer because I like hearing the steel, and I can't hear it anyway, so I might be hitting it, but I can definitely see the plume of dirt hitting. So do I think it's accurate? Yeah, and I think it's definitely a good gun to have some fun with, definitely for sporting, definitely for, I would even say hunting to an extent. It's going to do its job. But so far, I really have to say this thing seems to be working really well. Again, like I said, it has been getting a little warm. It's getting warmer as I go through it, which is obvious for obvious reasons. Note to self, got to invest in a better optic or at least a magnifier. Anybody has any recommendations, let me know. I'd like to try to get something decent. That's not going to break the bank, of course. So let's see if I can get that to work again where I love it. That little tap. I love it. All right, let's go. Yep, there we go. Ouchie. Okay, so right on that one. Yeah, this thing, I gotta say, guys, I'm really digging it. I love this rifle. Bolt locks back every time, which is nice. I really do like the magazine release on here, especially as a lefty. Nothing fancy, it's just a lever, but it does function really nice. It is very smooth. Obviously the bolt action is very nice here too as well. Really nice. I love this gun. So one of the things I'm noticing right away when I'm shooting it, as opposed to some of my ARs, this one actually, when you feel the actual kickback on the rifle, if you want to call it that, you know, or recoil of the rifle, one of the things I'm noticing right away is that it actually pushes back into the left, which is an interesting feeling because none of my ARs feel that way, you know. So it's kind of an interesting, you know, way it feels. It does shear up nicely on the shoulder. I definitely like the way the stock fits on my face. The cheek weld is very nice. But overall, man, I'm loving this thing. All right, so here's my kind of final idea on this BR4 amazing firearm that I just got to shoot for about an hour. I'm gonna tell you that I love this rifle, but I also love firearms. And without trying to be biased, I would say to you that there is really a good purpose to this rifle. And part of that is the fact that you don't have to go through the nonsense of making your AR-15 compliant. And that's something that has to be considered in all of this, right? So in order for your AR to be compliant here in New York, you cannot have a detachable magazine with any distinguishable kind of AR evil features. So what that basically means is you have a detachable magazine and you can't have a telescoping stock, you cannot have a pistol grip, you cannot have a muzzle device. But if you lock your magazine in the lower, and you cannot remove it, then guess what? You can have all those features, but that takes time, it takes money, and it takes a little bit of know-how. But then you also have an option where you can go out and buy yourself a rifle that is universally accepted magazines for any kind of AR type 15 mag or anything like that. You also have a rifle that you don't have necessarily a pistol grip or a telescoping stock, but you don't really need that. And so you have a rifle that's complete in all aspects. So for me, living in New York State, I would buy it because of the fact that it's easy. It's super easy. It reminds me a lot of a Ruger Mini 14, an SKS type of platform, just a hell of a lot nicer. If you're living in a free state, that's where the debate comes into play. Why would somebody buy this in a free state? And the reason why I would say they would buy it is because it really is a multi-use gun, right? You don't have the pistol grip. You don't have anything to snag onto it. You have all the usability qualities in regards to having a full pick rail on there and attachment points on the handguard. You have a side charging handle, which is kind of cool. I really like the side charging handles, ARs type platforms. And so you're getting all those features, and you don't have to deal with maybe necessarily the bulkiness of having a full AR, if you can call it bulky. I think at the end of the day, after shooting this rifle and seeing how well it functions and how easy and everything works, and knowing that I'm able to hit a gong about 150, 200 yards out without having any really magnification, and having that rifle so on point, I have to say, man, it was great. It was a great experience, and I really, truly enjoyed it. Now, should I tell you to go out and buy it? Of course, go out and buy it, right? Go out and buy it if it makes you happy. Would I say to you that there are some things that people might seem as negatives? Yeah, I think obviously the cost of it, but remember, you're getting a finely tuned piece of equipment right from the factory where you don't really have to do anything. And I mean it, you don't have to do anything to this rifle except attach an optic to it. So at the end of the day, what is this rifle to me? This to me is going to be my do everything rifle. If I have to get up and go, I'm going to take it with me. I like the fact that it is small. I like the fact that it is slim. I like the fact that I don't have the pistol grip. I don't have to worry about anything. The shooting position for me is excellent. I don't even have to worry about a telescoping stock, because the way the stock fit to me and the way it was designed, obviously you have the attachments you can put on there to either, make it a little bit smaller for a cheek well, a little bit shorter of a reach. But the way it came right to me was excellent. I have no complaints with it. Everything's shouldered perfectly. And that's not something I could always say right out of the box with an AR-15 that I've built. And so I like that. Now, if you're looking for a rifle, shop around. There are lots of companies that make them. But in this type of platform, especially in a state like mine, I would tell you that it's probably the way that I would go, especially if I could afford to do so. I hope you guys have a great night.